He's Kirk D. Cousins, the Vikings quarterback, and that's a big, big win against New Orleans over the weekend, and kind enough to join us. How you feeling today?
Oh, I'm feeling good. Lost my voice yelling in the Superdome yesterday, but doing well, and now we got a short week, and the teams don't get any easier from here.
I was wondering about that on the game-winning drive, how loud it was, because I could hear you, like you were yelling. Like, how loud was it trying to call a play?
Yeah, that was the loudest game I've ever played in, college, pro. I played in Seattle 3 times, played in the Superdome multiple times before that, but for whatever reason, that was just different. It was louder. After the first drive of the game, I was regretting that we hadn't used the silent cadence under center in practice all week because I was screaming, and my voice cracked a bunch like a high schooler, so I was just screaming at the top of my lungs, and it was just different than any other game I'd played in.
You weren't looking at anybody else other than Kyle Rudolph, so I'm assuming that play was designed for him.
Well, based on the defensive look and with the all-out blitz they brought, the ball had to go to him. Obviously, with other looks, it would have been different, but ball went to him, and at that point, it's just mano-a-mano. One-on-one, and the ball goes up, and you hope your guy can go get the rebound, and he certainly did.
What did you think when now they obviously review all scoring plays, but then they were looking at pass interference?
Yeah, with the way the game had gone, I expected it to be he didn't get 2 feet in, or he didn't complete the catch, or there was pass interference, and we're going to have a 10-minute review, and that's what I was expecting. So I actually, went over to the sideline and sat down on the bench thinking that they were going to take 10 minutes to talk about it. And then Kevin Stefanski came over after about 20 seconds and said, "Kirk, we won the game." And I looked up and saw that it looked like the post game scene. So I thought, all right, that's good enough for me. So it was certainly a unique ending.
Do you understand pass interference any better this year than you did last year?
I do think that the ability to, in a really crucial moment, go back and look at it has proven valuable this year. There have been a couple times where I've been glad that Coach Zimmer's been able to throw a flag to at least try to get it right if there's a chance to. But there's been other times where, we didn't challenge and I would have liked it, or it just proves ridiculous a little bit when there really wasn't enough to go off of, but we're going to take 5 to 10 minutes to talk about it. But all in all, it hasn't changed a lot, but I don't know that it's made it a lot worse either.
You gave us, you like that in the post-game, the locker room speech. You gave the fans and teammates what they wanted. When's the first time you used that expression, you like that?
It started when I was my roommate, Tom Compton, who played for the Jets this year. We were roommates together in Washington before I got married, and we would say it to each other, just joking around. Whatever we did, we'd say, "Oh, you love that," or "You like that," and I, he'd look at me and be like, "Yeah, I do. So what?" But somehow it just morphed into that one game, when we had the comeback against the Buccaneers in 2015. And I knew that, a lot of people didn't think I belonged as the quarterback. And so when we won, it just felt like validation or vindication. And I just said, you may not like me, but you like that. And it just kind of took off from there, I guess, because of social media. And yeah, I haven't really played to it much since. Don't really need to, but I guess yesterday's game, it just kind of came out again. Did you trademark it? We did years ago, but I think to keep the trademark, you have to prove use of it. We certainly haven't put it to use a lot, so I don't know if that's even a valid trademark anymore. Well, wait, you put it to use over the weekend. I guess so, but from a business standpoint, which is why you trademark it, I haven't done a lot with it, so I probably couldn't keep the trademark. What was the house like when you got back home? Yeah, my boys were asleep, but it was great to get home. My wife was on cloud 9, and that's life in the NFL. I mean, it is every single week, certainly in the playoffs, but even the regular season, it's the highest of highs, the lowest of lows if you win or lose. And, when you get back to your phone after the game and you got 200 text messages, wow. It's fun, it's special, and you just are reminded of all the people in your life who are not just watching, but they're really in your corner and cheering you on. There are certain players in certain sports where it doesn't matter what they do during the regular season. It's about the postseason. Yeah.
And you're one of those quarterbacks. It doesn't, Tony Romo was like this, that you're almost like the newer version of Tony Romo, where it's like, okay, great regular season, good regular season, but it is a compliment to you because we want to wait to see what you do in a big moment, because that you've faced all of that criticism. And even now, after that win against that team in that building, now you're going to still have people say, okay, but can he do it in San Francisco?
Sure.
But
sure, I hear you, and I don't know that I'm the only one. I mean, I was talking to Troy Aikman before the game this week and said, the fact that, when you guys were playing, it was the 49ers, you played that entire season, and it really didn't matter what your records were. Everybody expected the 49ers and Cowboys to be in the NFC Championship game, and that was pretty much going to define the entire year, who won that game. So I said it's got to be tough, to play, 17, 18 games, and you can be 18-1. But if you don't beat the 49ers and Steve Young, the season was a failure. So, that's life in the big city. That's professional sports in general. And, America loves winners. So whoever's standing at the end, and there's only one team, that's the one that gets celebrated. And just about everybody else walks away feeling like they left something on the table.
It felt like in the moment, and even the analysts were saying the biggest throw of your career was the one to Thielen in overtime. Would you say?
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Well, certainly when I'm dropping back and making the throw, I don't feel that. But then when you step back and you understand the importance, like you just said, of the playoffs and late in the year and that kind of a thing, certainly the outside world, it carries more weight. But, from my perspective, there were a lot of other throws along the way that mean just as much.
Well, congrats. Rest the voice there. Are you going to be working on the silent count this week?
Yeah, we'll be right back at it in another hostile environment. So we've got to, like you said, work on the silent count and have a plan. I mean, they're the number one seed for a reason, and we'll have our hands full. And they only lost 3 games, and all 3 of them came down to, I think, the final play. So it's going to be a fun one. It's what the NFL playoffs are all about.
Kirk, thank you. Congratulations.
All right, thanks, guys. Blessings to you.
That's Kirk D. Cousins, Vikings quarterback.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.